Welcome to my studio. Hello friends, and welcome to my studio, where we celebrate the makers of homegrown music. This week we travel to Scotland for some awesome electronic tunes by a relative newcomer. But first, a big shout out to my friend Mike Batson for introducing us to Victoria Preece, also known as Indiana Cartwright.
Tell me about where you are. You said you were in North UK, in Scotland, is that correct?
In Scotland, yeah.
Tell me about that. Where do you live? What's it like there?
I live in a tiny village called Kelton, which is outside of Dumfries, in Dumfries and Galloway. There's nothing here. I think I'm possibly the youngest person in the village. But it's great because, as I say, I've got all the houses are quite spread out. And the guy next door to me is hard of hearing. We live in a detached house anyway, but the guy next door, he's quite deaf, so we can play our music really loud at night. You know, it doesn't make any difference. It's a very rural place, a countryside. Yeah, it's great. And also, I forgot the most important thing. Down there is the river, the River Nith, and we get a lot of wildlife here. So we get like the hooper swans and the barnacle geese, and it's just amazing. Like seeing them, especially the hooper swans, they sometimes really fly into my attic window. You know, it's absolutely fantastic, and thank my lucky stars for living here at the moment. So.
How old were you when you started playing music?
I was 7 years old. Yeah. That was a classical guitar. Yeah.
Did you get encouragement from your family?
Yeah, my parents, as I say, they it was strict conditions. You know, you get a guitar for your birthday, but you've got to have lessons. And they were very supportive. So it was kind of a help and a hindrance at times. But I was young, you know. I was a kid. I was interested in so many things. You know, karate, football. You know, you name it, I was there. And so it was quite hard to keep my attention on one particular thing. So, but I found that I took to reading music quite easily. So the music theory side of things came along really quickly. I never had a problem with that, and obviously I can still read music today. So, you know, so that's a good advantage for my work as well. So I suppose I have that. So when I'm developing tunes, obviously I'm also looking at key signatures and chord structures and working at harmonies and things, which, you know, goes in my favor, I suppose, when I'm making electronic music.
You record all of your stuff at home, is that correct? You have the home studio?
Yeah. In this room, yeah. This is like a study. I'm sat at the desk. I've got everything in here that I need. It's very quiet. We live in the middle of nowhere, so I really get disturbed very often. Yeah. So I make it all in here. Yeah.
What's your normal process? What's your SOP? How do you begin a song?
That's a good question. It varies really. I usually just, depends what mood I'm in, but, you know, it usually starts with drums and a bass line, for me, to get me going. I'll be practicing the drums and I'll get a beat, and then I'll think, right, I just need a bass line. So I'll either do a bass line over here, or I'll find one that's on the computer, and then start from there. And then you just kind of build it up, I suppose. I don't usually set out with a plan, because I don't really plan things. I just kind of start. But yeah, so I like using lots of different techniques. So maybe I'll use a jazz drums with you know, blues bass, you know, and then add in some trance synth, you know. So I'm sort of combining genres. And then maybe I'll find a drum and bass drum beat that's that should be played at 174 beats per minute, but then slow it right down, you know, to like 100, and it just sounds it just sounds so much different to what it was before. So I just play around, and then eventually something catches my ear, you know. But I'm very like intense in my working. So when I start a tune and I think that I'm onto something, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be quite cool. I have to stay there until about, I don't know, 80-90% of it is sort of concrete. So that may involve 12 hours, or in like, I have got a bit stricter with myself, but you know, when I first started out, I'd be doing it for like 12, 18, 24 hours straight. Like, used to drive my partner crazy, but I'd be like, no, I can't finish it yet, I can't leave it yet, I've got to I've just got to get this bit right, because I know that if I come at it a few days later and I'm feeling differently about it, then it's not like, I might take it in a totally different direction. But it's fun. The time just goes. Like, I have no idea where the time goes. You know, it can be like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then next thing you know, it's 10 o'clock at night, and you know, you haven't eaten anything and stuff. So
One thing I enjoyed about your stuff is there almost every song has a reveal. I mean, you go somewhere. You know, it starts out here, but then you go over here. I really enjoyed that. Is that on purpose?
Yeah, I'm glad that you like that. I think some people they get a bit confused by it, maybe, or you know, I kind of see all of my tracks as a journey, you know, and I guess I get a bit bored with one sound, but it's also about one sound leading on to the next. It kind of happens organically. Mm-hmm. It happens quite naturally. And then what I've also realized or noticed recently is that actually electronic music can tell a story, you know, in the same way that like a ballad can, or you know, with vocals. It's happening with the sounds, and the sounds might be in dialogue with one another. That's definitely my style. I don't think I could change it actually if I wanted to. It's kind of just that's my sort of identity, I suppose, with my stuff. Is it?
What do you record on? What do you like to use gear-wise? Do you do it on PC? Do you use a DAW?
PC. So I use Ableton now. So I've got a MIDI keyboard. I don't know if you can see that over here, and my drum kit. But the most important piece of kit that I've got is this little fella. You see that? It's an audio interface. Yep. So I can put my MIDI in there. I can put my acoustic guitar in there. I can change the levels and things. So then that obviously transfers my acoustic guitar onto my computer, and the MIDI I use for keyboard and my microphone.
Okay, so what's the name again? What was the first song you want to feature? What was it? What's it called?
At the House. So that started out with a really bizarre bass line. The bass line was something that I was working with a different melody, and then I realised I didn't really like the melody, but the bass line was really cool. So I kept the bass line, and I was in the mood for a lot of really atmospheric sounds, and I was doing basic chord progressions, I think, in D, so just building up the layers. And I noticed that, oh god, yeah, there was this amazing like aurora of sound coming out when all the notes got together, and so yeah, and it's quite euphoric in that sense.
I can't believe that you've only been doing this for a year.
Yeah. It's been a very intense year. Yeah, I've just immersed myself in it, and
That's amazing. I can imagine a year from now that you're just going to have this huge archive of fabulous music. I do believe that.
yeah, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully. The second track, Century Gate. Don't ask me where I got that title from. Just the story for that one is about how it's going, like, as if a century had a gate, you know. So you're going through time periods basically. So you're starting off in a sort of slightly mellow, modern place, and then you go progressive with some trance ideas, and then you come out the other end with violins and much more sort of older ideas. So it's a journey through time, is Century Gate.
What does it mean to you to have a recording studio at home and be able to create your music at home? What does that mean to you?
It means it's very peaceful for me. It means a lot. Like it's been a really tough year for a lot of people, I think, and it's sort of meant, I suppose it's meant my sanity and my place of retreat and my place of escape and my place of enlightenment and euphoria and sometimes frustration. You know, everything. So yeah, it means a lot.
What do you hope people take away from your music?
I suppose I want people to feel something, and yeah, to be moved by it, I suppose, is probably the key. I hopefully make them feel better, you know, or you know, sort of. I love trance music, and so quite a few of my melodies are that way inclined with trance. Like, so trance is often euphoric but melancholy. You know, it has that really nice mix of the two. So, but it's almost like a humbling sound. You know, so I suppose, yeah. I suppose if I wanted anything from people, from listeners, is just that they shared in the sort of sense of feeling that the song has. So.
Do you ever imagine yourself quitting? Ever imagine yourself not playing music?
I can imagine myself getting to a point where I feel saturated. So I can't see any permanent end. I can see me getting to points where I've had enough, and I'm so creatively exhausted that I just don't want to hear music for a while. But I know that I'll always come back to it. Definitely, yeah.
Well, it's absolutely been a pleasure. I think it's just going to be I can't wait, to put this show together and get some more years on your stuff. I'm looking forward to hearing more from Indiana Cartwright.
Yeah, there will be more. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening. So.
Yeah, absolutely, our pleasure.
Look for her music on SoundCloud under the name Indiana Cartwright. Give it a listen and leave her a nice comment. You won't be sorry you did. If you'd like to show off your home studio, email us here. That's wtms.fridays.8pm@gmail.com. And that, my friends, is a wrap on number 11. Thanks so much to everyone who joined us. And join us next Friday for some more amazing homegrown music. We'll see you then. But until then, welcome to my studio.